Hey, Flexcast, we are back with our next guest, man. And y'all know the motto around here. We talk to movers, shakers, and tastemakers. And I have a brother here that fits that for sure. I want you to introduce yourself, and then we'll talk about exactly what it is you do. Please.
Yeah, Mike Melinoe. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, but I've been out in Austin, Texas since like 2016. I do like music, art, design, and a lot of other cool shit. So.
Hey, everybody clap it up for Mike, man. We got Detroit in the building. First time on the Flexcast. Hey, I'm going to say what up, though. You know what I'm saying? And Mike, the last time I saw you in person, you were performing in Mohawk. Which I thought, I just peeping the whole event was a very creative event. It wasn't just performances. Right. There were also vendors. There was modeling going on. There was a lot going on in the building. I wanted to talk with you about, like, one, how you felt about that performance, and then two, you know, whenever it's time to perform, how do you prepare? Because it looks like you prepare. Every time I've seen you perform, it looks prepared. Yeah. And so I'm curious, like, what goes into a day of performing for Mike Melinoe? If you would breathe on that.
Well, that show was dope. You know, just always good just to get in front of people and just be able to express whatever I think about in my head. But to be honest, like a day of if I got a show, I'm pretty much nervous, got the, bubble guts. So I'm on the toilet at least like 5 times before I touch the stage. I take a shit. And then, yeah, literally at least 5 times. And then, it's a lot of meditating if I have my son, chilling with him. Okay. But just trying to, perfect it, but really just calm down. I feel like I get so anxious and just be ready to do it. And the lights don't really bother me once I'm in front of them, but like, the day is kind of long.
I like that question, man, because me and Newbie are also artists, and I know that like artists typically have like a show day ritual. Newbie, do you want to talk about yours a little bit?
Shoot, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I sleep in as much as I can, because sometimes if it is a show, it's gonna be a late show for me. Right. But I'll eat. Sometimes I'll be first, but sometimes they're gonna put me in the middle or last. Yeah. And so I try to sleep in. I get up. I'm throat coat, honey, tea, lemon.
What are you eating and drinking on your show day, Mike?
For sure, ginger, lemon.
Same. I got to get honey.
Are y'all eating though? Are y'all eating though?
I typically don't eat till like.
Because I can't eat. I can't have no dairy, no hot stuff, nothing too cold, nothing too hot. So like, empty stomach, a lot of water,
it's
a lot of tea.
It's crazy to hear that because I definitely got to eat on show day.
I at least a little nibble or something, but I try not to.
I'm a cracker.
Oh my God. For real. Or some little walnuts or something like, anything small. I ain't trying to get on the
Do you think there's a lot of pressure because you're a woman and you have to get up there and you have to look a lot different than men?
Yes. Yes. Some guys can be out there with their stomach and they gut out, but I can't get up there and be like, hey, baby, I can't do that.
What about after the show, Mike? Are we picking out after? That's what I do. After the show, I go straight to Waffle House.
Yes,
I go crazy.
Waffle House.
Something.
It's gonna be like 1 a.m.
It's gonna be like
that's what I be on. Like, I try to
like
get
after the show, what are you typically doing?
Yeah,
on
food,
the show day?
For real. I smoke, so I'm during and obviously before, but definitely after. I don't try to drink before.
Same.
No,
I'm the same way.
Same. I don't either.
I ain't trying to get, because I'm not really a drinker. I mess with wine, like that's my vibe. But like, I'm not trying to get too lit, and you know what I mean. I don't know what's gonna happen.
It could throw you off, like
maybe like one.
Get you too hype, you forget words.
Yeah, I'll be good with one. Anything after that, it's like, all right, we
getting
a little too
sloppy. Because I always thought that artists got drank.
Yeah, I know some people like that.
You could tell a difference.
Here's the thing, and I'll just say this in response to that. Where we are in our careers, we have to be sharp.
Yeah.
I think
once
you get higher up, you like, look, the check done cleared before I got here, and I'm gonna show up however I want. Yeah. And so it's good to hear that. I really like to hear like artists' day show up routine because I know I have mine, and typically I'm waking up, I'm drinking something, something like that. So that's cool to hear though. Yeah. Do you already have shows for next year coming?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit too.
Okay.
Like, tour shit.
We'll talk about that.
Period.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, for sure.
All right. I'll say, let's get into the album. Congrats on the album, by the way.
Appreciate it, for real. Thank you, seriously.
Yes. So tell us what Star Child means and what's the origin? How did you come up with that?
I feel like every time I like talk about it, it kind of like creates a new like feeling or something like that. I kind of like, articulate it a little differently, but we was working on this for like 2 years, and ultimately I feel like I've always been a guy that kind of like indulge a little more in other people. So it's kind of like, my belief is strong, my faith is strong. And if I got a friend, I just, devote time to them. And I kind of, take a seat back. But with this one was more so trying to ignite and find this inner star child within my own self, because I believe that we all necessarily have this inner childlike spirit that we kind of like tamper with. But, I feel like I also necessarily had to just fall in love with myself. I was dealing with an ex. We broke up. And a lot of this stuff just started crumbling, but also having a child, just kind of like new responsibilities, you know what I mean? Just trying to like, look at yourself a little differently and try to have some sort of goals and admiration to, fall and fumble on this baby that's watching you every fucking day. So it's really just igniting that star within, but also trying to like, fall in love with yourself for the first time. But again, because I feel like we all have those stages in life. So,
Right.
It's powerful.
No, I appreciate it.
I'm curious also, like, Star Child, I know it's spelled differently.
Yeah.
So is the spelling symbolic too, or was that just random, or?
It was just
like to make it unique.
Yeah,
Okay.
I personally, it's not an acronym. It's just really just Star Child, but I just ain't wanting to just look like Star Child. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just take the vowels out and just kind of, let people deal with it or whatever. But
And do you ever find yourself, like, trying to chase that inner child, or do you feel like it's always available to you as an artist because you're inspired?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm silly as hell.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm literally always, like, joking 24/7. So it's always around me. But, like, creatively, I feel like sometimes we just fall out of love with this shit. You know what I mean? You do it so long, you kind of like, you gotta like face the mirror multiple times. Like, all right, am I in this for me, or is it just a fad? Like, what is this moment for me? And like, shaping a sound, what we did with Star Child was something that I've never like kind of felt before. It felt like the first name of it was What a Time to Die. And it was just,
That might still come out.
Yeah, hey man.
That's kind of heavy.
It was crazy, bro, because like
That's kind of heavy.
my homie, my best friend, like I was telling him the idea and stuff, and he was just like, at that time, it was a lot of people around me that was passing, and obviously being from Detroit, I'm not able to be there all the time. But this particular situation, I had to fly home and bury my grandma on my born day, so it was just one of them situations where a lot of people around me was like, "Don't look at it this way, do it this way, da da da." But my whole spirit was like, I need to necessarily die in thought of my old ways and spirit, and just kind of ignite like a new bubble and just like entity outside of my child, because that obviously does a lot for people, but just within, like I just want to be able to have a product, painting, rather that's design, and outside of creativity, just even having my own home, like, you know what I mean, my own space, my own shit the way I want it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can just, fall and pick myself back up, you know what I mean, and brush myself off and be prepared for the world. But it was a sensitive time, so just getting to that point where we got to Star Child was like this rebirth and ignite,
And I also think, last thing I'll say, I also think, like, as artists, we're often not in control of our environments. So when we want to create something that, like, yo, when I come here, I'm in charge.
Yeah, right.
I might go a lot of places, might deal with a lot of energies, a lot of attitudes, but when I come here, it's just pure. Right. And so I feel that, for really do. One other question I wanted to ask you, because I definitely had my favorite off the album. I had the songs that I like. What were you, when you were creating the album? What were some of the songs that you were like, yeah, this one sticks out to me, or this is? I know it's like picking a child, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
I have one that I'm gonna mention, but I wanted to hear yours first and see if we were on the same page about it.
It's I ain't gonna lie, every one is like a new day, a new thing. Okay. But one is like Casper is one of my favorites for real. It's like two of them, but Casper
is close to the one I was gonna mention.
Yeah, Casper. Well, Ultimatum is really the one that's like make you want to cry every time. But Casper was the very first song that we made, because our whole thought was like, let's think about sync. Let's make a movie. Every record needs to feel
getting
like
the music to
that was the
movies
whole point.
Okay,
so it's like trying to create some sort of cinematic soundtrack in a way, and how we can, under the budget we could do it at. But ultimately, Casper, my producer, was like, "Hey, yo, make a song about Ghostbusters." I'm like, "Oh, that shit whack. Why would I make a song about Ghostbusters?"
For
like,
sync,
horrible. You know what I mean? And that's what he was saying. And I'm like, I honestly was mad that day, and I be going through emotions. I'm like, nah, fuck it. So I brushed them off. It was so fucked up, but it was me at that time, And then I later on I smoked. I'm like, damn, I kind of felt like a dick. I kind of revisit the idea, then Casper happened. So it's really more so like Casper, but Ultimatum is that one record that just kind of like it tears me up every time. Because
for me, it was Ultimatum and Stereo. I don't know who. Dende, what's the name of the singer?
Yes.
Or the girl? Is it a girl?
Oh no, yeah, that's Dende. Oh my god.
Yeah. So Stereo was the one that like stuck out to me, because I was
Stereo
like,
is
man,
a bop.
like,
We knew that was
Okay, that's what's up. I wanted to ask that.
Yeah, we knew Stereo. We did that one in like April last year. So that was a record that I was holding for a long time. And I'm just like, well, a lot of those songs are that old, but you know, the Stereo was the record. When we heard it in the studio, how it came together. I was in LA. I made like 12 records just in one day. And it was just going everywhere. It was wild. But like I had to dip. And the last record that we did was Ultimatum.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like as soon as we did Stereo, it was crazy in the studio. We was like, oh my God, we might have got something. Then like a couple minutes before, boom,
crazy,
had to
bro.
dip.
Stereo.
Stereo in my opinion.
I gotta give you your flowers. I like giving artists their flowers, man.
Nah,
when
appreciate
you do
it,
something
bro.
well, because like when artists make whack music, we tell them.
Nah,
so
no,
when
real.
when you do
bro.
something well, I like to tell artists like, yo, that one stuck out to me.
Yeah, nah.
Stereo for sure.
Honestly, this whole album has been getting like just a lot of love, and again, like I feel like I've never had a body of work where people can buy into. You know what I mean? People can just be like, okay, this is the sound he going with.
This
and,
is Mike's
and I'm not
sound,
gonna say
right.
this is what I will solely forever do, because I ain't gonna lie, I started in choir. So
Same.
this is, you know what I mean?
I started in band.
See what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, I think as an artist, we get to a point where we get comfortable enough to be like, okay, this is me. It's all on the table. Let me just do it my way and however I want to do it. But, you know, genre, you know what I mean, bending is something that I'm kind of, you know what I mean, accustomed to at this point. So, yeah, I love it.
So speaking of
Yeah.
that, do you think that genre bending helps or hurts artists?
I think it can help an artist.
Okay.
I think it hurts an artist when they're forcing.
Yeah.
You know
when
what I
they're
mean?
forced to do it.
Yeah.
Because some artists got
Yeah.
bosses and they get told what to do. No, we just keeping it real. We don't keep it all the way real.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And rightfully so. I've never been in that position where people would have to tell me to do something. But like, honestly, I think it can hurt an artist, but it also heightens so many different avenues for artists. Like for me, I'm into rock, I'm into punk, I'm into R&B, I'm into gospel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I fit these variations within my creativity and not sounding whack?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these ideas have already been done. It's just like, how can I reinvent it and make it my own, and my story, my world? But yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. And that's something that I would love to just articulate a little more creatively and sonically and just try to grow with, because like a record like Night Glow, having something like that on the same record as Michael, and then you go to Ultimatum, and then you go to Stereo. Those are 4 different genres.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't really even know what happened, but it's just something. I mean, even in my older music, I've been tampering at the idea. This shit just was paid for. So it's going to sound exactly how the fuck we want it to sound. I like that.
Okay.
So that's just really what this shit is. But yeah, genre bending, in my opinion, is like helping me out. Because one thing Dende told me, he was like, you know, because he used to rap, go crazy.
Right.
And he was like, one thing that a lot of people, you know, would not really understand. It's like, yeah, I love hip hop. I started in rap, but you know, nobody really gave a fuck or really even kind of pivot my way until I started singing the way I sang.
Okay.
Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I did
Come on.
2 mil. I ain't been rhyming like common sense.
Come on,
like, and I think I got to that place too where I was like, nobody gives a fuck about who's the best rapper anymore.
Yeah.
It's about who can make the most engaging art to make you feel something when you listen to it.
Yeah.
And when I listen to Star Child, I feel like from the start to the finish, it feels, bro.
Yeah.
It's 100% feels, and I really like it. We wanted to talk. I know we briefly mentioned it earlier in the conversation, but what's coming up next for you, man? Like shows, music, anything at all? Like, what can people be excited to expect from Melinoe?
To be honest, we pushing this album for at least a long time. You know, a lot of people have told me to just kind of like, oh, why would you drop an album? Or, you know, but one motherfucker told me, and shout out my boy Avi, he was just like, man, don't drop nothing else for 6 months.
Are you talking about Avi the Nomad?
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't know you know Avi.
Man.
Damn, Junior know everybody.
Okay.
Nah, but listen. Hold on. Avi is like one of the coolest dudes.
Dog.
Like, and he really cracked the game for like how to blueprint being a local artist.
Man,
Avi is a cool
super
dude,
bro.
yeah.
Super cool. And he
That's
just told
crazy
me
that you know him. That's fucking nuts.
Hey, we kind of just got in it. Like, I feel like it started like maybe like in the summertime or some shit. He
that's
hit me
lit.
up, and we just been, you know,
Good dude. Avi's a good dude.
super cool, bro. But he's like one of the most, I think, just transparent people. You know what I mean? He just told me we was like at this concert, it's packed, like Kill Bill and shit in Square. And we watching on the side, and he just whispered to me like, hey, look, man, like for the next 6 months, don't drop nothing. He was like focused on story and just boom, 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 and navigate it. So that's just, my plan was to do it for a whole year. So regardless, that went in line with what we want. But saying that to say, yeah, we pushing this for a while. So videos,
What about
obviously
shows?
tour. Yeah, fall we have like this tour that we like aligning and working on, like festivals, like stuff out here too as well. And we have like this one show I can actually speak about that's gonna be like 420. We doing it at Parish and stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be cool.
I'll be there. I'll be at that
Yeah,
one.
I think then like Free Week stuff, but yeah, it's a lot of shows.
Oh yeah, Free Week is coming. Oh,
yeah, and I haven't done Free Week in maybe like
me neither.
3 years, 3-4 weeks. I kind of
I think pandemic kind of messed it up.
Yeah.
So Free Week. So for the first week in Austin, all the concerts like locally thrown are free. It's called Free Week.
Okay.
And
It's
it used
mad
to be like
shows.
it used to be like South by where it was just as big of a week. People were excited, but like I think pandemic kind of took some of the juice out of it.
Yeah.
But Free Week used to be lit. Like I remember one time during Free Week, I saw Kevin Gates.
Damn.
And I'm talking about like when he was.
Yeah.
Is this during South by Southwest time?
No, it's the
Okay.
first week of the
January.
year.
Oh,
Every
first week of the
year,
year.
it's the
Okay.
first week in January.
Okay.
It's
And
crazy.
like I remember there were a couple Free Week shows where I saw some pretty big artists when they were on the rise in the
Damn,
past.
that's
Sounds like we
crazy.
need to
So
keep
yeah,
our eyes
yeah,
open
nah,
for
Free Week
Free
is lit,
Yes.
man. They got to get the juice back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do.
And I mean, man, just get a little creative, man. Like
Once they start booking, like
Come
get
on,
back to
man.
booking names for it.
that's what one of the homies was talking about. His name Maul. He work over at Antone's. and
Shout
stuff,
out
and he
Maul.
was
He's
saying-
been on the podcast.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Maul's been on the
He
podcast.
just told me yesterday. He was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to like do a lot of creative things in that avenue. So like, hopefully, not even hopefully, I'm pretty sure it'd be dope.
I love when somebody brings somebody up and they've been on the podcast because that's the whole
Yeah.
point of the Flexcast. We're trying to like
community,
bring,
man.
we're trying to bring this like community of press to Austin because it's not that there's not talent in Austin, but press is what tells people there's talent somewhere. And so we don't have a talent problem in Austin. We have a press problem in Austin. And we're trying to like bridge that gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I would even like second that, in thought, it's really just realizing and understanding like LA, these big places like New York, Atlanta, Detroit, however you want to look at it, these infrastructures just been broewing for years, decades. Like they got the connects, they got the people, everybody want to be
they have
there.
community.
Exactly.
They have
So
a community.
out here in Austin, is so important. And even with the city, like we've had talks with everybody. It's just like, yo, like it's not really about a me thing. It's just like, okay, like do your thing, provide your shit, but like, yo, like the industry is being created now. So it's best to set up shop and just spread your wings as much as possible and set a standard. I don't think everybody and their mama should be able to come to certain areas, but we should have that access to talk to people and be like, hey, yo, this is what you need to do, the guidelines to get here, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's important.
Hey, you said a lot. Everybody clap it up for Mike, man.
Man.
Hey, tell the people where they can find you on Instagram, social media, whatever. We're going to pop it up there.
Mike Melinoe, MikeMelinoe, and MikeMelinoe.com everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, man. Appreciate y'all for real.
Hey, I appreciate you coming by, man. You or any family of yours are welcome here anytime.
Man, appreciate it.
Flexcast, we're going to take a quick break just to get ready for our next segment, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Yo.